Hello everybody, my name is Chris and this is my channel Born on 11970. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this video, and I think this is a very important one. As you could see by the title of this video, VOX, the result of when good people do nothing. Now, if you're not familiar with what's going on, I'm not going to give the full details because a small channel like mine will basically be blocked like it's already been. So you could search for it for some of the bigger channels to get more further information. But basically, in a nutshell, there was a big YouTube channel that was kind of making fun of a person from a company that works at VOX. Now, these days, people have become very overly sensitive, but I can also see it from the other end. Nobody likes to be bullied. My channel has had that abuse for a long time and no one ever did anything about it. It's, sticks and stones kind of thing. But what happened was this became such a big deal that a well-known, more left-leaning channel of VOX influenced YouTube to basically not technically silence people, but demonetized that person's channel, followed by a whole bunch of other people that had more of a conservative view, by not shutting down their channels, but making it so you could not make advertisement just for having the right of your opinion. Now, I'm the first person to say that you shouldn't be abusing people, but there are certain limits, because what's happening now is they're starting to dictate your speech, where eventually you will not have the ability to create income if you do not speak in line with certain agendas. And here's the problem about this, and this is why I titled it The Result of When Good People Do Nothing. If you've watched my channel at all, and I've been here, well, I had an original channel that I shut down because of bullying and the abuse that I got. Now, I mean, to me, I've gotten death threats. I've had people put out my personal information. I've had people not only call me, but call my sister, call my mother. But this was years ago. YouTube did nothing about it, and I shut that down. But I've been here with this channel since 2012. And I have video upon video talking about how they've been silencing me. I used to contact big channels, even big channels that subscribe to me, and they refused to listen or do anything. And now what's happening as a result of years of people just not paying attention because most people don't want to rock the boat, now it's starting to affect them. And this is something that I've tried to warn people about. When you do nothing for fear of retribution, because eventually what you did not want to do, and I'm not saying you specifically, I'm talking about like bigger YouTube channels especially, who are now seeing the result of what I've experienced for years. Because if you look, I have almost 50,000 subscribers. The video I made the other day has 500 views. Now that one I can understand because I haven't done video in 2 or 3 months. But if you look at my videos, I average about 800 to 1,200 views on an almost 50,000 view channel. My biggest video, it's called The Truth of the United States Law and You. For the first 2 years, it got 630,000 views. Since then, it's gotten about 1,500 to 2,000 views. They've been silencing me for years. And I warned people about this, and I asked for help. I contacted, back in the days when you were allowed to actually private message people, I would message huge amounts of big channels, and I won't say who, because that's not about this, but asking for help, saying, look, they're silencing me. And it fell on deaf ears. Why? Because it wasn't affecting them. And this is the result. So now they're feeling the pain of what I've been feeling for years. Do you know how much on a 50,000 subscriber channel, do you know how much I make in ad revenue? $45. I just checked it. So what they're doing now is they're silencing people with so YouTube can technically say, "Oh, we're not stopping free speech. You can make all the videos you want." But what they're doing is taking away people's revenue, because many people on YouTube use YouTube videos and ad revenue as a career. So if you take away their ability to make money, many go away. So you indirectly stop free speech by doing it in an evil way. And I promise you, you see here, I'm not telling anybody anything other than my opinion. I'm not bashing anybody. I'm not insulting anybody. I didn't even say the specific person's name. I said the name of the company, but I didn't say the specific name of the person, because that's probably an automatic death flag, just saying it. But I promise you, this video will be demonetized. I have so many of my videos demonetized where I say nothing other than sharing my opinion. But this is the result. Like they say, evil thrives when good men do nothing. That's the exact quote, but now we can change it these days to evil thrives when good people do nothing. So this does not shock me, but what it should teach all of you is that when something is wrong, when evil is occurring, if you choose to say, well, it's not affecting me, so I don't want to be a part of it, well, eventually it will affect you. And by the time it affects somebody higher up, there's nobody left to defend them. So, as bad as it seems, with all of these bigger channels being demonetized, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, because I don't know. I mean, it's wrong that they're doing it, but I don't really feel that bad, because nobody wanted to help me when I was trying to warn people years ago that this would happen. And trust me, I don't want to be one of those people that says, I told you so. But I saw the writing on the wall. Because the way you transform people's thoughts is not doing it instantly. You have to do a little bit at a time. And if it's not affecting you at that moment, you tend to want to avoid it. Thinking, well, if I don't say anything, if I don't do anything, maybe I'll be passed by. And as you can see, that is what happened. I'm trying to get people to think differently, because look at it this way. Let's say you had $5 million in your bank account. Many of us probably don't, but, wishful thinking. But let's assume you had $5 million in your bank account. What would you do if tomorrow you saw a zero balance? You'd report it as stolen, especially if you didn't spend the money, right? Because you would notice $5 million gone. But let's say over the months, there's a $20 withdrawal, a $50 withdrawal, a $100 withdrawal, to the point where you don't even notice it because, you make purchases all the time, and you just think, $25, I probably bought gas. You wouldn't pay attention. And by the time you realize your money was stolen, they would have gotten away with maybe they didn't need to take the $5 million, but let's say they ended up ultimately stealing $100,000. That's what they do. The way to control people is to slowly turn up the heat. It's like they say, if you put a frog in water and slowly start to turn up the heat, it will die. It will burn to death because it doesn't realize what's happening. So I want this to be a warning to especially the big YouTubers. So when I say the result is, when the title is you, I don't mean you specifically. I'm talking about the huge content creators that didn't want to protect us little people because they were getting their money. And you notice they don't cry about it until their revenue was affected. It's a way to silence people by taking away their income, because if I have no recourse, because I have many of my videos have been demonetized. I've done a manual review, which is all you can do. And they just say, well, we reviewed it and we still don't think it's appropriate, so you can't make money on those things. Now, this is not about money, obviously, because I've still been doing it. But after a while, I just got burnt out because I was basically talking to 12 people. On a 48,000 subscriber channel, 29 people were listening. And I thank you for the 29. And to put it in better perspective, my other channel, which I've been keeping up, my comic book channel, We Love Comics, I have 7,000 subscribers, and if I do a live show, I'll get 70 to 100 watching. So about 7 times less subscribers, and I'll get triple the views. Because I don't talk about this stuff there, so YouTube doesn't block it. I made a video years ago about ghost banning, where they don't technically ban you, they just don't, you'll never find somebody in a search result. So what I'm trying to say is people really need to start paying attention, because if you don't want to be that frog that burns to death in that boiling water, it's time to act. Now, I'm not saying anything about violence, because violence begets violence. You don't put out a fire by using more fire. But the idea is to not be afraid, to speak out, to do things the correct way, because they want you to fight. They want you to get angry. They want you to riot, because then they can create more laws and they can blame you for it. Yeah, Laney says it's up to 31, and 2 left already. And I guarantee you about 6 of them will be the people that are negative that have been here. And I find that funny, because my video I did yesterday, which was 100% inspirational, out of the 500 views, 7 thumbs down. So I'll give my stalkers credit. I haven't done a video here in 3 months, and yet 7 of them were right there to thumb it down. I find that funny. But this is what happens. No big channel wanted to help me. Not one of them even responded to my emails. And unfortunately now, they're feeling what I've been feeling for years. YouTube has made it clear, because YouTube specifically said they are going to be hindering the ability for conservatives. Not for specific, people that are doing wrong on all sides. They specifically say conservatives. You don't think that's an agenda when you're only going to silence one side of having an opinion? Now again, if you bully, if you threaten, if you do things that deserve to be taken down, I am all for that, no matter what side of the political aisle, religious aisle, or whatever aisle you're on. But when you only silence one side and you allow another side to continue to do what they're doing, that is clear agenda. And I've been warning people. That's why I said years ago that I knew I was on the right track, because I was one of the few being incredibly silenced. I see channels that have 30,000 subscribers that have 15 to 100,000 views. To me, it was never about the money, it was about the message. That's why I did it for as long as I did, knowing that I wasn't going to make a dime. Like I said, $45 I'll be making this month off of ad revenue. That'll put gas in my car for a week and a half. So it was never about the money. But just imagine if they didn't silence me all these years, and I actually was able to make what I earned, I wouldn't be in the financial position I've been in. I may have been able to move and afford a house. But that's the result of speaking truth, and that's the result of everybody else choosing to stay silent. So the bigger channels out there, who will never see this video, who will never respond to this video, because they'll help each other, because why? It gets them views. They're not going to help a small channel. It's not going to do anything for them. But they're getting exactly what they deserve because they chose to do nothing. And I hate saying that, but that's the truth. But I don't want to see this. That's why I've been for years trying to warn people about this very thing. And if you notice about especially my older videos, a lot of them are coming true right now. Most people still don't want to hear it. Most people still don't want to do anything about it. And mark my words, if it continues on the path it's going, YouTube will only be for people that are in the mainstream. You will not be able to survive anymore speaking your point of view if it goes against an agenda. And anybody that thinks at this point this is a conspiracy theory is either getting paid very well to say it or just has no clue. Because years ago when I was making these videos, I was called crazy, I was called paranoid, I was called delusional, I was overreacting. I would get massive hits from people that would dox my information years ago. You know, I was talking about fake news before Trump ever made it popular. I was warning people about that years before everybody started following somebody that's more important. So, to me, I've had this affect me for years, so it doesn't bother me. I'm trying to warn everybody else. I've seen the writing on the wall before most people even cared. And now these bigger channels are feeling the pinch from doing nothing. And this is the same in anything in the world. When something's happening to a smaller group of people, and people decide to continue to walk on and do their own life because they don't want to rock their boat or ruin their own party, those were probably going to be the very people who would have defended you when it reached your level. But most people, they're so living in fear that they choose to do nothing in hopes that it'll pass them by. And by the time it gets to them, there's nobody left to save you. So there's still time to turn this around. And like I said, no violence, no rioting. Don't keep playing their game. But you got to speak up if you want the ability to have an ability to speak. Otherwise, the movie 1984 is going to ultimately be seen as a documentary. So I understand that people don't like hearing this stuff. But reality is reality. At least what we have at this moment. But the beautiful thing about anything in life is anything can be changed if you put the effort into it. Your car goes nowhere if you don't turn it on and drive it away. Doesn't matter how much you wish for it to move. Or pray for it to move. Sometimes you just gotta move it. And it's the same thing with doing the right thing. And that's why I've said for years, this is the wonderful thing about freedom of speech. It's a wonderful thing about the ability to do whatever you want. Is you have the ability to do the right thing, the wrong thing, or nothing. But there's always consequences for your reactions and the results of what you choose to do or not do. And if you cannot see what happens down the line, then you could actually do more harm than good. They are taking people's words out of context. They're taking people's ability to make revenue, so they get frustrated and leave, which means messages don't get out. I mean, look at me. Those of you who like my channel, for 3 months I didn't make a video because I was so tired of basically preaching to deaf ears. And I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the larger YouTube audience in general. That no matter what I did or said, I knew it was going to be blocked. It was going to be shadow banned. After a while, I was like, what's the sense of me doing this? I can't do it for the revenue, because I'm not making any. Well, like I said, I gave you the amount. Nobody's listening, or hardly anybody's listening, to the point where it's making a big deal, and I see the result of the train coming down the track. Why would I want to stay on that track? So to the big channels out there who will never see this, you're getting what you chose to ignore. It's going to get worse, unfortunately. But for them, like I said, it doesn't matter if the world is flooded. Because as you see, even if the whole flooding theories and religious aspects of the flood happened, we're still here, which means there will always be survivors. There will always be people that make it through any situation. That's why I go through this with no fear. I speak with passion. I'm not angry about it. I mean, like I said, I've been dealing with this for years. I'm not exactly thrilled about somebody else taking my ability to feed my family away and making me have to find different ways of trying to earn a living. But these bigger channels, they didn't want to help. They ignored people like me. And now, who's going to be there to help them? Because I can't hire a lawyer to sue. I don't have that kind of money. I can't defend myself. It's unfortunate, but if people choose to stay silent, do you think, A, it's going to stay the same, B, it's going to get better, or C, worse things are headed down the road? You're driving in your car, and you're on a lone, dark road in the middle of the night, and it's stormy out, and you can't see more than 2 feet in front of you, and all of a sudden you see a sign where it says, "Bridge out." Well, that's bad news, isn't it? But here's the beautiful thing. You don't have to continue down that road. You can stop. You can turn around. In other words, it doesn't matter how doom and gloom or bad something seems. It only stays that way if you choose to continue on its path. All you have to do is turn around. Change direction. It's that simple, but people are so afraid of it because, you've been programmed, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. Well, it doesn't have to be unless you believe that. Because remember, like I've said in videos, there's a reason why there's the word lie right in the middle of the word believe. All of this can change in a heartbeat if all of a sudden people decided to do the right thing and start speaking up and doing it the right way. You notice I'm not cursing. I'm not calling for somebody to be executed or beat up. I'm not telling anybody to put out anybody's information. That's why I didn't even say the name of the person that's basically started all of this. There is always a way. But if you do nothing and you're driving down that road, or you choose to not believe the sign, or you think, oh, this is so bad, and you're so worried about falling off the road that you don't do anything to prevent it, and you fall off the road, whose fault is it? Take responsibility. So I'm going to get going, because I'm going to go on my other channel now and do a video that I was set up for at 12 and talk to 60 to 100 people on my 7,000 subscriber channel. And I guarantee you there'll be more people sharing those videos, more people liking those videos. And I want to thank the people that are here, because this is not about you guys and girls. But like I said, right now, if you look, 29 people are watching on a almost 50,000 subscriber channel. And it's always been that way. It's not like it's because, well, you haven't done a video in a couple of months. I don't remember ever seeing more than 60 people watch any one of my live shows ever. That's YouTube. YouTube is silencing it by not letting people see it, by not getting notifications. And no big channel would help me. And now they're feeling what I'm feeling. Part of me thinks they deserve it, but most of me understands the writing on the wall, and that shouldn't happen to anybody. But this is the result of what happens when people choose to do nothing. You'll be safe for a while. And if you're on a boat that's slowly sinking, or sinking slower than another boat, yeah, you might not drown as fast, but you're still going to drown. Work as a team. Work together. Help people. Because eventually it'll come to you, and if you don't save the people because you don't want to be hurt or affected, well, who's going to be left to save you? And I wish a large channel would hear my message and see my videos and see many of them crying out for help, only going to deaf ears. And now they're experiencing what I'm experiencing. Only it's going to hurt them more. Because I think at the most, I think one time, because when my Truth of the United States video went viral, as close to viral as you can from my channel, in the first 2 years, I got one check for $600. That was back in 2012. When it comes to this channel, I don't think I've earned more than $95 in the past 3 years. And again, it's not about the money. So, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go make my other video on my other channel. I want to thank those that are here to listen. Whether you share it or like it or anything like that, that's up to you. I hope one day that bigger channels will actually see the result of what they've done. It's the whole reap what you sow, but it can be stopped. They want to stop revenue So they can literally say, so YouTube can literally say, we're not silencing people. Well, if they left, that's their own, that's their choice. But that's the goal. Take away their income, you take away their voice. Not everybody's, but it will definitely diminish it. Because how many of you that have been watching me religiously have said that they missed me and appreciate my message? But there wasn't a message for 3 months. It's up to you guys. The 34 that are listening right now, if you do what you can to help spread this message and get this out there, you're not just helping me, you're helping everybody. I've been trying to do that for years. And unfortunately, this is the result. So I know it's not all on me. Obviously, I don't have that kind of ego. But I'm trying to say is I've seen years ago where this was headed, and I hate the fact that I'm right. But I could be right in the sense that things can change and go in a different direction. But that depends on you guys. So thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I know this isn't one of my inspirational videos, but, sometimes people got to be smacked with a dose of reality. Because if you spend your whole life wishful thinking, if you're on a sinking ship, wish all you want. Or do something to keep yourself from drowning. Sometimes God puts you in a position so you can figure out how to save yourself, not just rely on someone else to save you. So thanks for listening. Have a great day, and peace out to everybody.